Like pixels on a screen, these are the games of our lives. Welcome back to the Games of Our Lives. This is episode 26. Joining me, finally, once again, Mike.
Oh, long time no talk, Chris.
Yes, he's joining us from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, might as well be, right?
Yeah. Apologies for the sound quality, but we'll make it work. So, Michael, video games, what have you been playing?
So I finally, I think I only bought 3 games in the Steam sale, which might be a new low.
Yes,
Uh,
the exploration sale,
yeah,
the primer to the winter sale.
right. And it was actually, I don't know, I kind of liked the new format because it meant I didn't, my life for a week wasn't dominated by Steam flash sales.
Right, exactly.
So I kind of appreciated. It's like they gave me back half an hour a day. But so I installed and I played Convoy. That's the main one.
Yes, that's
Uh,
the FTL like, but cars, right?
yeah, it's the FTL Mad Max sprite game,
Is it
and
is it good?
yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I went into it like it was FTL, which is kind of good and bad. So it doesn't give you a lot of info up front. There's a tutorial, but I kind of my first few playthroughs, I kind of realized how wrong I was playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's kind of like, for example, I didn't really appreciate that guns had line of sight until I clicked on the weapon and it said fires non-line of sight, and I was like, oh, line of sight exists in this game.
Oh, wow,
So
interesting.
my first few playthroughs were not that effective. But once you get the hang of it, and also the other reason was I was kind of playing it as if it was like a real time game, which is kind of the same thing with FTL. You're playing it real time, trying to keep up, and then you realize, oh, if I want to be good at this game, you're gonna constantly be pausing.
Right, right.
So once I kind of realized, like, oh, I should always be pausing, always be moving around the other cars, it became a lot more fun.
So it's a
Uh,
little more dynamic than FTL, would you say?
it is. One thing I do like it, and I mean FTL is the obvious comparison, so I'm a tough time not uh, not putting it up against FTL. One thing I do like is that I in FTL sometimes I would get into a battle. I'm like, oh, I'm way overmatched, and you always have the option to run, which was nice. Uh, in this game, I feel like there's enough strategy that I could win when I was the lesser, when I wasn't as good as the opponent in terms of like upgrades.
Okay, so you would say that it's less sort of random chance luck based than FTL is.
I think so. There's still quite a good amount of luck. One thing I don't like is that pretty much when you enter, there's no run button, and if you enter an encounter, so I've entered a couple encounters that I thought I was good, and I was way outclassed, and I had no idea, and I was just kind of boned.
Oh, okay.
I have to admit, I'm trying to think what ruined this for me. If I died and I just hit Alt F4, and then when I reloaded the game, I was at the beginning of the encounter.
Ah, so save
So
scumming.
yeah, I'm trying. Oh, you know what? It was Binding of Isaac that did it to me. It was when I was doing it with the Lost character,
Mm-hmm.
the one that dies in one hit. Uh, that was that was the thing that ruined me. And so I admit I did do that once or twice to win my first game.
Okay.
I also made it because something else FTL taught me to do was like I should always start these games on easy and then move up.
Right.
So I beat the game I think on maybe my third playthrough. So I mean it's less of a steep curve I think than FTL.
Right. Right.
I really enjoyed it. It's pretty much it's the same to unlock new sort of escort cars, sort of a starting position. You have to do achievements, so it's similar to that. Uh, the one thing is, so I beat it twice, kind of using different tactics. I don't have that overwhelming urge to unlock everything that I kind of did with FTL.
Uh huh.
So I kind of feel like I put in like 6 to 8 hours, and I think I'm good. I don't really have that drive to drive to go back to it.
Oh,
Uh,
that's pretty good though.
yeah, no, it's still like I enjoyed it. I'm glad I got it. I'm trying to think. Was it a Kickstarter? Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think it was.
I don't know. I know I hadn't heard about it until we talked about it
Okay.
the last time we talked
But
about
I
it.
mean, it's a good game. I'm sure it's going to come around again cheap in the next winter sale, and it definitely easily recommended if you do enjoy FTL.
Yeah, it's great.
But all right, so that's my little game. I understand you've been playing some bigger AAA games.
Right. So we talked a little bit about Fallout 4 last week, and I'm still playing it. I've dumped a lot of time into it. But there's only one small thing that I really wanted to talk about this week was that I've sort of discovered how, I mean, not that these games necessarily need it, but Bethesda has really padded out the Fallout open world experience in Fallout 4.
Padded out, you mean as a good thing, like added more or extended it maybe more than it needed?
Well, I mean, in addition to the sort of standalone side quests, main quests, that sort of thing, for each of the major factions in the game, there are repeatable quests that are essentially go to a location and do a thing, and they can sort of be repeated ad infinitum. And one of the systems that they've added to the game, and it took me a long time to realize all of this. That I thought all of these missions were standalone things, but when it sent me back to a location where I had already been.
Hey,
So,
gotta kill
uh,
those death claws again.
right. So something that they've added, I think added, I'm not certain that it was in the previous first person Fallouts, was essentially buildings, areas can respawn, refill with enemies, refill with loot. So for each major faction, these repeatable quests can be done almost ad infinitum. And it really, until I figured that out, I kept doing them.
Oh,
So I mean,
figuring you were just progressing through a very boring.
yeah, I was like, man, God, I gotta clear out more
Can't wait
feral
till they
ghouls
let
at
me
this one
into the.
location.
Yeah, can't wait till they let me into the Assassin's Guild.
Yeah, it. So I mean, that's both a good and a bad thing because it really makes the game. It really extends the life of the game, and it lets you. I mean, you get experience the whole time, so it lets you sort of because there are so many different perks and leveling things. I'm level 50, and I'm maybe halfway through
Oh
the perk
wow,
progression. I don't
that's
know. I haven't
yeah,
counted.
because it was always I know usually you get to about it followed closer to the it's tabletop origins where really you hit
Right.
20 and then everything really once you hit 20, I mean you were pretty good. You could pretty much wipe your way through the game. Eventually we're going to reach a convergence with Fallout and Oblivion or
I
the
mean,
Elder
yeah,
Scrolls.
we talked a little bit about it last week. They took a lot of the stuff that they improved from Oblivion to Skyrim and added it into Fallout, which is, it's pretty good. But
All
yeah,
right, no, that sounds cool.
but I mean, it's more Fallout. But really, what I wanted to talk about was since, I only had my laptop with me over the holiday break last week or 2 weeks ago. Um, I played a game called Undertale on my laptop while I was on vacation. Now, Undertale is a it, okay. Let me put it this way: if you have any affinity or nostalgia for classic Final Fantasy style SNES era RPGs, then you should play Undertale.
Okay, is it PC only, Steam?
Right now, yes. I don't know if it's going anywhere else, but it is on Steam for like $10. It is a parody and an homage to those styles of games. I think its biggest influence would be Earthbound, probably.
Oh, that's a good influence.
Yeah. So yeah, I really there's not much that I can say about it without sort of ruining it. It's a short game. I haven't beaten it yet, but it is a short game. It really takes like all of the tropes of those games and subverts them and is shockingly well written and funny and like heartfelt, and you sort of it the short time that I've spent with it really left an impression on me, and I'm looking forward to getting through it. So I'd highly recommend it. I don't want to talk about it anymore because
Oh,
there's already
intriguing.
so much more. There's already a lot of people talking about it on the internet. I don't want to spoil anything
Okay.
for anybody.
All right. Yeah, I've seen pictures of it, and it looks pretty. That's about all I know about it.
Yeah, it's something really special that I think everybody who has an affinity for those style of games should probably play.
All right. I guess I'll have to add that to the wish list then.
Yeah. So Mike, what do you got? What are you looking forward to?
So I think this week, a game that I know was released months ago for the PlayStation Network is coming to PC, and that's Helldivers.
Ah, yes, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, which is that twin stick shooter from the people that made Magicka.
Right.
So pretty much all I've seen a couple of videos of it. That's basically it. But I always enjoy the kind of the PC shooters, and I think it's coming out for I think like $20, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I've heard it's very difficult.
Yeah, I'll go through phases where I want to play the tough shmups,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll want to put it down and play something easier. Because actually I kind of hit the part in Galaxy Z where it's pretty difficult,
Right.
and especially I mean not to go too much off topic, but uh, the way Galaxy does it in um the 5 missions in the season, and then it sort of restarts you,
Mm-hmm.
is that I have more trouble with the first mission in a season now because you have 0 upgrades.
Right. Right.
The first mission and the last mission, everything else is kind of okay.
Mm-hmm.
So mix it up a little. I think it's a pretty cool looking game. I know it's something about Super Earth.
Yeah. No. It has a very strong aesthetic influence from stuff like I'm blanking on it now. Um, Starship Troopers.
Oh, okay, that's
And
fun.
it's our Earthlings' home is called Super Earth now instead of just Earth.
So it's even better.
Yeah, it's real super.
All right. So how about you? What are you looking forward to?
Just Cause 3 just came out. um I've heard it's kind of a little messy right now, so I'll probably wait to pick that up for a while, but you know had a lot of fun with Just Cause 2. So
I think that's a game that benefits from messiness.
I guess, yeah, it's kind of a beautiful mess.
Yeah, I mean some of the most fun things is like I could watch physics glitches from Just Cause 2 all day.
Yeah, right.
I mean you could argue that the whole premise behind Just Cause 2 was a physics glitch,
Yes, it was
a
a
grappling hook.
confluence of glitches.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that
As long as it's nothing game breaking, hopefully.
no, I well, I don't know. I've not been following it, but I've got a lot on my plate anyway, so
No, that's true.
another giant open world game. Yeah, I don't think so.
Just what you need.
Yeah, right.
So how do you like? I mean, this is I'm going off topic again. How do you like the base building stuff in the new Fallout?
It's a little messy, and it's sort of hard to get a grasp on, but I can see its appeal. I mean, it's totally optional. But yeah, it takes a little getting used to figuring out, like, okay, well, how do I like actually figure out what I need to get,
Okay,
and
so it
so
is a little gimmicky then.
it's I mean, it's fully functional. It's just poorly explained, and the UI is not great.
Oh, okay, but it's not like it's unnecessary. Like you have to get your base to a certain level before you can launch the final assault or anything.
No, I've not. It's not been a requisite for any story progression to this point. I mean, that one of the factions that you work with, it's pretty much all taking over areas and then building bases there.
Hmm.
But it's mostly optional. I mean, there are a couple of, like, there's a tutorial quest line that has you going through the process, but that's really all you have to do.
Got to build those expansion bases. Get all that Vespin gas.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, the way that you manage the base, and the people the settlers that you've acquired, is not great. And hopefully there will be mods that fix all of that. Though really, come on, Bethesda, you should have fixed that yourself.
Oh, no, I'm sure. They'll probably come out with one of the expansions. I bet they'll focus on it.
Well, that's the thing, right? So this system was introduced in Skyrim, one of the Skyrim expansions, and then they just sort of built upon it for Fallout. So there's really not much more, not more where it could go. Mm. But yes,
No,
the mod system for the weapons, which is vaguely related to the base building, is a lot better than it has been in previous games.
that's good. It's probably best that I'm not the one doing game design for these companies, or else every game would have a tower defense mini game.
Right. I mean, there's kind of tower defense. You know, you'll get alerts as saying like one of your settlements is under attack, but you know, you could also build turrets and defenses and all that stuff, but it doesn't seem to deter the attacks.
All right. So, anything in the news?
So, the day that we're recording this, it was the third, I believe it was the Game Awards, the second annual Game Awards presented by Jeff Keighley and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, you said it was Achilles, so I was excited to see the statue, and unfortunately, the statue was not Jeff Keighley in the Dorito Pope hat.
Oh, that would have been great. But that would have mean that he would be too self-aware.
No, well, we saw him do the keynote for PAX South, and I think he was very self-aware. But also he was very much wanting to do something good for games.
Yes, he's definitely passionate about it, and I didn't watch the show this year, but you know, it's not on broadcast television. It's pretty much entirely funded by Jeff Keighley himself and their advertising partners, publishers, and studios and all of that stuff. So it's completely isolated. There's no outside influence. Every year, the panel of judges and the nominations that they make, they make sense to me for the most part. So I think it does a good job, but I've never been a fan of like award shows because it's trying to award and it's trying to make an objective award to something that is entirely subjective, which is the enjoyment of media.
No, it's true, and obviously you're gonna get into that with all award shows.
Right.
I do think generally I do enjoy them. I mean, they definitely get a little silly. I kind of like that the Game Awards does take it seriously.
Yeah, no, they
there are no awkward. Yeah, you don't have the celebrities on stage who obviously do not want to be there.
Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they. Well, yes. I mean, it's not like the Joel McHale thing from the last time that they aired them on Spike, where he clearly was drunk and didn't want to be there.
Yeah, or kind of something with like the E3 presentations,
right.
Or they'll have like Jack Black come out and do a comedy bit.
Right, but it is not without its awkwardness, I will say, from what I saw on Twitter and the clips that I watched this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess still, I mean, it's only it's the second year that's not like the Spike Video Game Awards, right?
Right.
I do like that the best shooter was Splatoon, which I think was the correct answer.
Right. Let's let's go through it. I've got a list of all of the winners here. We won't go through all of the nominees because that would take too long. But first up, best family game, Super Mario Maker. I've not played it, so I have no idea.
Can't go wrong with a 2D Mario though.
I've heard Mario Maker's pretty great. Best fighting game, Mortal Kombat X. Haven't played it. I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna go off. Our friend Nathaniel from Game Cola has posted he started a YouTube series of his friends playing his Super Mario Impossible.
Oh, right,
Impossible
his
Mario.
Hack, yeah.
Yeah, so now that Super Mario Maker is out, yeah, back in the day, you really had to work for making your Super Marios, not handed to you on a silver platter. So I'll have to find the link maybe and put in the description.
Yeah,
something
no, definitely.
This, but
I remember he's been working on that for decades.
That's true. It has been well over 10 years. And I don't know how prolific he's been in the past few years, but it's really one of the most impressive fan-made feats I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Best fighting game, Mortal Kombat X. I can't think of another fighting game that really came out this year apart from
I,
like Guilty
I
Gear.
mean, yeah, yeah, it's kind of one of the problems with the categories is you have something like best fighting game, and there are two games in that category I've never heard of.
Right.
Uh,
Best multiplayer is Splatoon.
Agreed.
All right.
I have no problem with that.
Sure. Best mobile game, Lara Croft Go. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I've played that. It's pretty good. It's a puzzle game.
So does the mobile handhelds include like DS or Vita?
I believe so. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
was right because they have Monster Hunter.
think we'll skip the esports stuff because I don't recognize any of these names.
No, that's true.
Most anticipated game, which is a weird category, which is basically just which game are you hyped about, which is No Man's Sky.
Yeah, that is. I think that's one of the fan awards.
Yeah, right.
And I thought the same thing. I thought most anticipated game. That seems like a holdover from the hype era.
Right.
The VGX.
Yes. Best narrative, Her Story, which is that it's basically an FMV sort of file exploration game. I have not played it, but I've heard good things.
I was gonna say it's very difficult to comment on not having played any of them.
Right. Trending gamer Greg Miller, formerly of IGN. He made a great acceptance speech. You should check that out.
Yeah, I did. I saw his speech.
Best indie game, Rocket League. I don't know that I agree with that necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily call it an indie game.
No, yeah, because I remember that being out for a PlayStation, and now everyone on Steam is playing it.
Right. Well, I
don't know that.
So when it was released on PlayStation and Steam simultaneously, but it was a PS Plus free game when it released.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
It was a big hit.
It's a fun game. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it was a big hit, but I don't know that it necessarily fits the indie aesthetic as compared to some of the other games in the category.
Right. I mean, it was made by a development. Well, I guess. Yeah. No, I agree. It's a good game, but it seems weird that it's in that category.
Yeah. Rocket League was also the best sports/racing game.
It's both, right?
Yes.
Fair enough.
It is yeah. I mean, it's a racing game in the sense that it has cars.
No, I know. That's true.
Games for Impact, which I think was originally called Games for Change category, which is basically just weird games. Life is Strange, which is like a Telltale kind of thing.
It's the best foreign film category.
Pretty much, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I like that you have these games nominated right alongside, the big AAA title.
Yeah, so. definitely, because now we're getting into the AAA categories.
Yeah.
Developer of the Year, CD Projekt Red, because of The Witcher 3. So I don't know why they have a Developer of the Year. It's kind of like Best Director.
Well, I was not gonna make that joke. It's like when Best Director is not the person who directed the winner of Best.
Right.
Of the best movie. Like what?
Right, because it's weird. Do you talk about quality over quantity? I mean, certainly CD Projekt Red has been dedicated to The Witcher. They've been fixing it for however many months since release, but is that necessarily something that you want to reward? I don't know. It's a weird category.
Well, and it's a little weird too, because say something like, all right, well, Nintendo they came out with Splatoon and they came out with a couple other great games this year, but they'll also have a couple stinkers too. So do you hold that against them, or are you just doing their best work?
Right. Best art direction, Ori and the Blind Forest. I've not played that, but it's kind of like a Metroidvania.
It's a beautiful looking game.
Definitely. Best action adventure game, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Of particular note, when or after this award was announced, the next time Keighley was on stage, I watched this clip. He told a story about how Hideo Kojima wanted to be at the Game Awards to accept his award, but was told by a Konami lawyer that he was not allowed to.
Yeah, it was weird. It was kind of cool that they just admitted that straight up, but
yeah, it was kind of like, and the rest of the night, people involved with Konami were sort of throwing shade at him.
Yeah, it's you're not a real awards show without at least one ridiculous controversy, right?
Right. Best score, Metal Gear Solid 5. It's got a lot of Bowie and other, I don't know. Score, it's isn't I don't know. I've
That's a
not
tough one.
played Metal Gear Solid 5. Isn't most of it just like 80s songs?
I don't know. They're not just giving it to Bastion again.
Right. Well, Bastion didn't come out this year, unfortunately.
No, I don't care. No, it's just. I mean, I don't think anything really jumped out from the nominees.
Yeah. Best performance, Viva Seifert, which is a incredible name for her story.
It is.
Viva Seifert! And
I don't
Game of
know.
the Year, Witcher
Wasn't
3.
Andy Serkis somebody this year? Come on.
No, he was in Avengers.
Oh, so he's only in one thing.
Yeah. Game of the Year, Witcher 3. Best role-playing game, Witcher 3. Best shooter, Splatoon. So Witcher 3 sort of cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was a great game, right?
I don't know. Haven't played it.
No, that's true. I don't have a strong. It's not like I was like, oh, Fallout 4 was robbed or anything.
I don't know. I don't think Fallout 4 is the best game of the year. It's certainly a good game,
Well,
but it is not.
It didn't win.
Yeah, but I mean, even like in the limited number of releases that I've played this year, it's not definitely not my favorite, just because it is so very samey to the previous iterations.
Sure. I mean, and this is exactly the thing you're talking about. It's entirely subjective.
Right. It's yeah.
And if you don't like RPGs, I mean, it's rare that, I mean, if usually you would enjoy the best picture, right, each year.
I don't know. I don't see a lot of movies.
Well, one of the nice things about it is it's much easier and much less time consuming to actually see all the best picture nominees.
Right.
But it's possible that this game can win, and it's just a game you could not at all get into. It's just kind of one of the weird things about video game awards being awarded.
Yeah, so another thing, some of the other things that they had at that Game Awards is that Double Fine announced they're doing they're working on Psychonauts 2, which is on their crowdfunding platform Fig. I still have yet to play the original Psychonauts. I've been meaning to. Did I lose you?
Oh, hey, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I lost you for a second. No, Psychonauts is a very good game. It holds up fairly well. I think I played a little bit of it maybe a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did they re-release it?
Yes, they did. So, Double Fine has had a lot of weird like licensing negotiations for their games. They got a bunch of them back a few years ago and released them all on Steam again. But
yeah.
One of the interesting stats I saw from their like crowdfunding video was that when they re-released it on Steam, it sold triple the units that it did on the original Xbox when it originally came out.
Yeah, it's kind of so the crowdfunding thing they're doing through Fig.
Right.
The difference is technically I think you can buy equity into the game.
Right. So if
it does extremely well, you might actually. I'm not sure what you'd get. I mean, would you just get cash or what? I'm not sure what you'd actually get.
I don't know. I think in order to see that stuff, you have to be eligible to invest, and in order to be eligible to invest, you have to apply and qualify as like a Class 3 investor, which means I don't know that you have the ability basically to dump. I think it's at least 10 grand into something.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's not for. It's not.
Yeah, it's not something where I'm gonna put $10 in. I'm gonna get the game, and if it does well, I'm gonna make $10 back. It's not like
right.
that.
It's real. It's real money, essentially.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting concept. Keep in mind that Psychonauts was not a commercial success.
Yeah. No, on the original Xbox, it only sold like less than 500,000 copies. But it's well beloved by anybody that's ever played it.
It is, yeah. Be careful. Cult classic doesn't necessarily mean profitable.
Well, so they're asking for 3.3 milli, and as of this recording, they're halfway there, and it's only been up for 2 days. So,
I mean, I think it's reasonable that they're starting with a high amount to make a good game.
Right. So,
instead of just saying, "Hey, we want to make this little game," and then getting a ton of money and not knowing what to do with it.
Right. I think it looked from what they said is like we're setting our goal at 3.3 million because that's what we got for Double Fine Adventure, which became Broken Age. And Broken Age, from all intents and purposes, was a pretty full-featured good game. So I guess that's a good starting point for him.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it seems a little fairer than Kickstarter. In terms of, hey, I want to put $100 into this game and maybe get like some digital art or some posters and T-shirts. So I mean, I don't know. I've been kind of burned on Kickstarters recently, so I'm not running to the website to invest. But I mean, if it comes out, I'm sure I'll buy it. I really enjoyed the first Psychonauts.
See, that's weird because I've done more crowdfunding stuff in the last month than I have ever. So, like,
Oh, intriguing.
yeah, I gave to the.
I did kickstart Secret Hitler.
Oh, okay. I did MST3K, the MST3K
Oh yeah,
one.
I saw that one.
And Indivisible, which is an RPG from the guys that made Skullgirls. It looked really cool, so I bought a copy of that. Essentially, pre-ordered a copy of that.
And that's it. Like I have no objection to kickstarting for the game. It's when you get into like the bonus tiers that you kind of lose me.
Right, like how I dumped $150 into Star Citizen 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean that's good and bad. That's a different kind of game, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll see when it comes out.
I was gonna say, call back in 2 years and see what you get.
Supposedly, the single player stuff comes out next year, but we'll see.
All right.
But we'll see. I think that's gonna do it for us. The next episode will be our last before the new year, so I think myself and Mike will be talking about our favorite games of the last year. Hopefully, the two of us have each played some new ones. If not,
I was gonna say, hopefully between us we have 5 games that came out this year.
Right. Otherwise, we'll talk about the best games that we played this year. But that's the plan. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and spread us around. That's the only way we can grow the audience. Once again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.